Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Dennis O'Neill. That's O''Neil. I begin by simply thanking you for the opportunity to testify today on such a weighty issue as the death penalty. I am retired from the Florida Department of Corrections after a 30-year career, 13 of which I was the warden of several institutions. For 2 years of that career, I also headed the execution team in the state of Florida. As execution team leader, we executed 2 inmates during my tenure in that capacity, had several others stayed in their executions by courts. I don't have time to detail my entire bio, but I would trust that you will simply accept that I do no corrections. I know also how prevalent the mythology is that the death penalty deters crime and prison violence. I would argue that virtually every element of that myth rises and falls simply on the merits of how such arguments can play off of public and political fears, which is to say that the myth has no merit. An impact of capital punishment that receives little attention is the extent to which the taking of another human being's life diminishes and haunts the lives of so many involved in the execution process. Indeed, taking the life of another diminishes humanity itself. As head of the execution team, I had a briefcase, literally, containing various apparatus critical to the accomplishment of a successful execution. I kept that briefcase locked in a credenza behind my desk. I also had a shoebox, now speaking metaphorically, containing all of the duties and responsibilities required of me as a human being to ensure the successful accomplishment of an execution. The shoebox was kept more securely locked away than the briefcase, simply because it was absolutely essential that I, the human being Dennis O'Neill, not have to ever deal consciously with the reality of what I, Dennis O'Neill, the education team leader, or the execution team leader, was really doing. To this day, that shoebox remains, thank God, locked away most of the time, though I do not mind taking the garbage out of it once in a while for worthwhile purposes such as this. Others deal differently with this phenomenon, but all are affected. Making light of killing another human being, cracking jokes is a common response amongst correctional staff involved in the process. Some drown their memories with alcohol. Capital punishment dehumanizes, it desensitizes humanity to just how dear human existence is. It takes its toll on individuals and families. From a jurisprudence perspective, capital punishment is virtually 100% retributive and 0% restorative. And I have every reason to believe that your corrections officials here in Montana would share these sentiments, whether they are or are not politically permitted to express them. Maintaining the professional facade can be a required survival skill, but the emotional toll is a heavy one. I have also spent time with victims' families while they awaited the completion of an execution, and I have never seen the satisfaction that some of them thought the event would bring. Relief, perhaps yes, but I would suggest to you that that same relief would have been theirs 10 to 20 years earlier with a sentence of life in prison without possibility of parole. And they themselves would have been much farther along in picking up the pieces of their own lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.